I think you better let it go. Let it go, baby. Looks like another love TKO. Girl, what happened with these people? Let's jolt it right quick.
Come on, Blazer.
It's the beat for me.
Wah 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 wah. For your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we live.
What's up? It's your girl Voodoo back with a quick little joke or whatever the case may be. And we is about the joke Miss Symone and Mr. Rashid, child. Girl, listen, I don't know these people. They say they come from Ready to Love. And I was like, okay, because I've been stopped reviewing that. It was just beginning to be too much. It was a Ready to Love episode coming on coming on literally every 3 months, and it was just getting tiresome. So I just gave up. But whatever. I guess these two people done went down there to the show or whatever the case may be, and they went to the show or whatever, and they fell in love. And then took it in like real life. And they say Rashid had done swept her off her feet, child. That's what they said. When I went and did the Googles, because I needed to see what was going on and who I was going to be talking about, I looked at an episode of the show where he was really chasing this other girl, a darker skinned girl. What her name was, Adrian? Girl, he was chasing her. That's who he was chasing. But she came and, masculine in her masculine energy and asked him to go out on a date, and he said yes. But in my opinion, I feel like she was the fall girl. You know what I mean? She was the second fiddle. You know what I mean? But he really, in my opinion, he really wanted to date this other girl, Adrian. But nevertheless, here we are. 2 years later, they engaged. They getting ready to celebrate their wedding. They got a fan base. The people on the YouTube streets are giving glory and praises to the Most High because everybody want to see this couple succeed. And this is why, let me just say this before we get into this video. This is why I preach to everybody who has an ear to listen to my voice. Social media is not real. People only show you what they want you to know. I cannot stress that enough. Social media is not real. People only show you what they want you to know. Why is this important? Well, I was scrolling down my YouTube feed because, I just be listening to YouTube while I'm at work. And I saw this man, and it said the title on the video was Confessions of a Flawed Man. And in my mind, I was like, I'm not about to click on that. But then I was just like, let me go see what this man talking about. Maybe he gonna spill some real tea. You know what I mean? So after skimming through an hour of the BS, he got to the real deal. And what we found out was, dude ain't had no money. He was around here flexing like a Cash Money video and ain't had a quarter to his name. Listen, this ain't my words. This was his. He said he was in more debt than he could see. He said he was in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And I said, what? And why? All because he wanted to look like he had it. Girl, I said, if this don't describe the majority of the people on social media in 2023, I don't know what it do. But anyway, I'm going to let y'all hear from his words because see, what happened was he ended up scamming his old lady, or his fiance, by basically making her believe he had more than what he had. And she done had enough. And you wouldn't believe what her final straw was for her to say, you know what, I'm done. But we're going to get to that part in a minute. But I'm going to let Mr. Rashid explain to you guys why he's where he's at, and basically what he did to basically fraud his fiance. And he's taking accountability. I'll give him that. But let me let you hear it from his mouth. Y'all take a look at this. I'll come right back with a little bit more commentary.
So then I'm accepting that I am super flawed, that I'm a narcissist, or I have narcissistic tendencies, and I want to be better. I want to free from the cap. I work hard, and I made great money. I've lost it, I've made it, and I've lost it again, and I'm at rock bottom. My house ain't in my name, it's in my mama's name. My car is in my mama's name. My credit is a 500 credit score. I've got so much debt spread out, I can't make ends meet. I'm selling my house right now because I'm in so much debt. That I've lied to all these people, and I went and got all these cars that I can't afford a month. I got another car that I can't afford a month. I got this house I can't afford a month. All this stuff that I'm paying out, and I'm in over $250,000 worth of debt. both my accounts was negative last week. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you my watch in the video. I'm going to show you in my Porsche that I can't afford, talking on Mondays, motivational Mondays. Again, I'm a great freaking salesperson. Maybe that's why I'm a narcissist. Because it says you have to, like, you're persuasive and manipulative in my mind. Looking at you. So, like all this stuff with these fake diamonds and fake watches and these cars and showing you all this stuff. Like, both my accounts was negative last week. I was waiting for a check to come in so I could get back to water. And then I lie to y'all and say, oh, I'm finna start selling these cars at XYZ because I've got this great partnership. No, because I'm broke and I need to go back to work because I'm about to lose this woman that I lied to, making her think I got it all figured out and not giving her the whole truth. So men, if we're doing this, if we're living this life, we're not only hurting ourselves, we're hurting the women potentially that love us. I can't afford the house that I'm in. I can't afford the car that I drive, let alone all the other things I have to pay for. Child support, my son's activities, you name it, all stuff that I created. Just because I want to look cool in a cool car. Because I'm the car god. I got to pull up in a cool car. That's what I rationalize myself as doing and saying. But I jump in more and more debt. The hole I keep digging to get out of it because of my ego, because I think I can fix it without a plan, and I can do it because I'm the man, and I can lie, and I can manipulate until I get my big break. I'm going to keep digging this deeper hole. You can't blame a woman for a man putting her in that situation and circumstance financially, because love is not enough. So, to wrap all this up, I didn't change from my first marriage. She was right. She told me no counselor would ever change me or change the way she felt. And I was steadfast on proving her wrong. She's absolutely right. So I'm the same guy. I didn't change. And I'm doing the same things financially and the like in the relationship that I just had. And me coming to the final conclusion is that this is enough. This has not been successful for you. You have to try something different. It is you.
Now, let me start by saying this. First of all, kudos to the brother. The only reason I'm giving him kudos because he's actually standing in his BS. He's standing in and owning all of the things that he's done wrong in his past. He's actually doing everything, or not doing, I'm sorry, but he's actually talking about the things that he's done wrong with a plan. I don't even know if he really has a plan, but he has a way forward. He wants to have a way forward. Let's just say that. The flip side of that is this is a 45-year-old man who is getting ready to embark on a marriage. Keep in mind, will be his second marriage, not his first. One in which the first marriage, he basically got divorced from her, or she divorced him because he frauded her as well. But neither here nor there. We're trying to give the man a little credit, but actually give some constructive criticism. My only issue, well, not my only, I have a few. My issue with Rashid is you lied. At the big age of 45, you lied. I understand you taking accountability for it. I'm all here for that. I actually applaud that. However, after we applaud, what is the way forward? What is the action? And that's where I'm at with it. I didn't really hear you speak about, and I listened to the whole video, but I didn't really hear him speak about a way forward in which how he's planning to move on and do something, better, and, action plans and all that stuff. I didn't quite hear that. But in my mind, I'm thinking this is a 45-year-old man that literally is living life like a 25-year-old child. And this is what gets me. When it comes to the black dating market, which I am not a part of, but when it comes to the black dating market, I cringe when I hear men say, well, it's the ones you choose. It's the Pookie and the Ray Rays. It's the ones you choose. When you can see a well-dressed man, as you can see, presents very well. Nice foreign cars, house, and you would think he's got it together, but it's given Atlanta black man. That's what the dating scene down there in Atlanta. When I was interested, I tried the dating scene in Atlanta for maybe 5 minutes, and I got right up out of there because everybody looks the part, but nobody actually has it once you get to know them. So it just baffles me that at 45 years old, this man is still playing a charade with people, basically trying to make it seem like he's more than what he is, when the fact of the matter is he a bum. He a bum. And I'm saying he a bum because, yeah, he's able to attain things, but he can't even keep them. He was in over $200 and something thousand of debt. Now, that's the criticism that I have for this brother. I hope that he gets himself together and he actually changes his ways, but I gotta keep it real. In my mind, this is more of an addiction. This is more of a habit, and this is more of something that he's gonna need more than therapy for. He's gonna need rehab. Y'all ever heard of shoplifting addictions and addictions to food and addictions to anything, porn, anything? With this young man, he has an addiction to wanting to be flyer than he really is. And that's just what it is. So he's going to have to do more than therapy. He's going to need rehab. He's going to need counseling sessions. He's going to need a multitude of things. But that's just his part, child. Now, so I went down there because I had to see who was this woman he was just getting over on. And just so I look, she's a cute little girl. But I ain't going to call her a little girl because she's 40. But she's a 40-year-old woman, an attorney. And actually, I had to dig a little more and realize I actually shared one of her videos. She is the girl from the show Is That Legal? I actually shared her video on the Derek Jackson situation. So I'm like, she's an attorney. I thought they thought with logic, like what is going on? So I just had to hear her side. And when I heard her side, I really felt like you guys needed to hear it because I heard it. And I want y'all to make y'all informed decision. And I'm going to tell y'all what I think. But let's get into her side of the story and how she felt and what took place in the timeline in which it took place. And then we'll come back with a little bit more commentary.
His video, the way I perceive it and have perceived it is it's the same as if you're dealing with a gambler, because pretty much the decisions he were making were straight gambles. These were not business decisions. These were not calculated risks. And if you're dealing with someone with a gambling addiction, you either stay there and enable them, or you say, I'm not playing with you no more, and I'm going to carry on with my life and give you the opportunity and the space to get the help that you need, because I can't do it anymore. And the help that I was providing was insufficient.
You were just at a point, well, a lot of steps that led up to this. It wasn't like you just decided, oh, okay.
For 2 years, I've been working on his finances. Let's be clear. For 2 years. And we, like we said, I can't see that comment. Yes. It's fine. The one that was on the screen. For 2 years, I've been working on the finances. And the thing was, I've been knocking them down. Bam. You know, I'm an attorney. So when we get things in the mail from the debt collectors, you know, we got lawsuits. I show up to court. There was one, he didn't know about it. It was default. He gets it and can't save up $10,000 in the course of a year. I have a problem with. Because I'm looking in the garage at $3,400 worth of car payments every month.
Man, that makes so much sense, man. Wow.
Of decisions. And what I've also learned about men is that they know that because we love them, we're going to hold them down.
100%.
And he couldn't. And to be clear, I bet if I had said, you better go get a loan from one of your buddies, you better go get that, he would have done that. He loves me like that.
I believe that as well.
But that's not what I wanted to do. The bigger issue is you're not in the right mind space and you don't have a plan to get out of it. Still wouldn't be a plan. The bigger issue is you're not in the right mind space and you don't have a plan to get out of it.
Which is scary.
Yeah, and if I didn't make such a strong stance and say no more, I think there still wouldn't be a plan. It's my understanding now he's, like, multiple people have reached out with suggestions for financial planners and that he's entertaining all of those things. And that is wonderful and beautiful. And I say thank you to everyone. I am actually very proud of him. I'm not angry with him. Well, I was very frustrated. I am so frustrated in aspects and how this happened and that it had to be such so painful.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, this was the plan for the last 2 years. But it wasn't until we were supposed to be paying the down payment to the person like in 2 days, and he's like, hey, let's elope, that you gotta be like, wait a minute. Because here's the thing, if I elope, I'm not solving the problem. I'm enabling it.
It's like a Band-Aid. It's gonna still
That's
be
how
there.
I see it. Mm-hmm. You know, we can disagree, but I see it as doing that is enabling him, because it's saying you can be financially irresponsible with me and have no consequences. Okay. That was a gift. We are grown. And no, I'm not asking my 70-year-old parents to pay for my whole wedding as a grown big person. And there's nothing wrong with parents not having it or that not being there. I want my parents to be able to afford their medications and other things like that.
Say it again.
Yes, and so the issue is, and I don't care if my parents said they were going to pay for all of it and he had to come up with $10. If he doesn't have his $10, I got a problem.
Yes.
Anything, I feel that any serious problem that you have an issue with prior to marriage, this is the one and only time that the man is really going to take you seriously and have an incentive to work on it. Because afterwards, you better sit back and be quiet. Because you've allowed it, you consented to it. Can you read that question on the screen? My eyes are bad, but I want to answer it because it's related.
If you know the amount of debt he's in, don't you also know how much he makes and therefore what he can afford?
Great question. So that's the other major thing I wanted to say about background checks. Background checks only tell you what's on their credit report, their criminal history, their all that, because we do credit reports too. The problem is behind my back, he took out debts in other people's names.
Oh my God.
What am I supposed to do with that? And then prioritize those over the wedding. Understandably, because he didn't want to put the people that he took credit out, and they knew it. It wasn't fraud.
Right, right.
He got other people to get things and he was paying, and he said, I don't want to mess up these other people's credit, so I'm going to pay timely. That's not the issue. That wasn't a problem for me. The problem is that you knew you had a wedding coming and you get yourself in $126,000 of additional debt without talking to me. So, no, I kept asking, let me see, I need to see your bank statements. I need to see your this. And would get excuses. So I would only get piecemeal information. And two, if someone chooses to get debts in other people's names, what can you do about it until you find out? Once I found out, and that's the part that I found out. I knew there were debts. I knew that there was a car in the garage that wasn't on the credit report, but I'm told, for example, he traded in 2 cars to get that. He traded in a Tesla and an Escalade. I don't know that much about cars, but I know those are 2 expensive cars. So I'm thinking that they put a huge dent in whatever his monthly payment would be. But that wasn't the case.
Those cars are very expensive. Is it
really love it? Let's do the hard stuff now, and hopefully I'll never have to do this again. Because when I was laid up next to you and you wanted there to come home and we cuddle up, apparently you wasn't taking it seriously because you quit going. Will I be there? I don't know. I cannot say that. But my mom,
oh, Mama. It's okay, boo-boo. Take your time, Mama. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your moment. Take your time. You're fine.
My mom always says that you need to leave that man better than you find him. Whatever man it is that you're dating, a little while longer, leave him better than you find him. And I knew that the only way that I could do that for him and my bonus baby is
I
I
know you
have
love me.
to, yeah, yeah. Um, I have to be firm with my desire for a plan and sticking with the plan. Oh, and ladies, let me be very clear. In America, what is someone saying?
We got your back.
Yeah, you're
Everybody in
back.
chat,
Thank
they saying they love
you.
you.
Got
I'm a bit crying. Yes, they got you. Y'all know I got
y'all.
her.
Y'all gotta remember too. Like, I have anger management. I have zero cry felony. All right, zero cry felony. And
Mm.
but in America, so today it just came out. Scottie Pippen has to pay Larsa Pippen 50% of his NBA retirement.
Woo.
In America, when you get with someone and you guys divorce and they're at later stages of their working ages, you guys split your retirement. I have a retirement. Unfortunately, he doesn't. So that was a huge thing that I had to consider. Okay, if this doesn't work out, because we're already fighting about, we have finances, which is the number one reason people split. I am going to have to depart with 50% of my retirement, quite likely.
Mm. See, that's kind of stuff that women don't know about. I didn't even know about stuff like that. That's information that we really all should know because we all put ourselves in a situation and then it's too late. Before.
We are doing business plans. And so when I found out that he went and used someone else's credit to do another hustle and the extent of the loss in process, that this is why I can't have my freaking $10,000 wedding and need to elope. I'm like, enough is enough. If at our big age you can't afford a $17,000 wedding or you don't have $10K towards your wedding, the question becomes, should you be getting married?
Yes.
At this point.
So now let's go ahead on and call this baby ugly so we can get up out of here. This is the recap of what's happening, right? And I know you just heard her testimony or what she feels like took place in her eyes and in her position, which I believe every word of. But we just have to be honest and call out whatever we need to call out. So this is what it is. This dude, Rashid, started out with this whole diatribe about how he grew up in special ed and basically was a mama's boy. That's what I got from it. It's just me paraphrasing. It's what I got. He basically got up there talking about how all his jewelry is fake. He's been flashing this in front of the camera. None of it's real. And he owns all these luxury cars that he don't really own. Most of them leased. He was doggone using the cars to basically rent out thinking he was going to make money off. He never had a plan. He never had a plan to do anything. It was always just off the cuff. Let's just go, right? So he had all these things going on. He says he's been lying since he was growing up. So that means this is something that is habitual at this moment. So it's going to take more than just a little therapy. And he said, like I said earlier, his first wife divorced him when she found out that he had a gang of student loans that he didn't tell her about. This is a pattern. We're developing a pattern here. But she ended up cheating on him with his coworker. And I mean, I'm not condoning cheating, but I understand. I'll allow it. Anyway, but he wanted to free himself from all this lying and said that basically he was living a lie. He basically feels like, hey, look, we do this every day on social media. We're out here acting like we're this and we're that. And the truth of the matter is we're none of what we're portraying. Everybody is lying. And that's what I've been trying to preach to you guys. Everybody is lying. Now let's get into what Miss Symone had to say that was really alarming. Miss Symone did a background check on her man before she even got with him. And when he finally came clean and said, hey, look, I just want to let you know I really don't have the money and the things that I have. She's like, oh, I knew. So they end up doing a background check on each other, right? They do this background check on each other where she's finding that, hey, he's in a lot of debt, over 100K in debt, at least in the student loans. But she also goes on to say how she put up a plan because she's moving forward. Red flag number one. She's moving forward. The moment you saw his background was what it was, in my opinion, I would have been running for the hills, but that's just me. She decided to move forward with this man, and I understand why, and I'll talk about it a little at the end of this video. But she decides to move forward with this man and come up with a plan to help him clean up his credit. While she's helping him clean up his credit, he incurred an extra $250,000 in debt while she's helping him clean up his credit. Y'all let that sink in. if it was so many red flags being thrown in this whole relationship setup, I don't understand how, as an intelligent attorney, an educated woman, that she cannot separate her heart from her brain and actually start using the brain instead of her heart. Because right now she's leading and doing everything with her heart, which is causing her to do everything that she's doing right now when it pertains to this man, and all for what? But we'll get there. So then he goes off to say that he was selling his house for the wedding because, mind you, by the way, he had pushed the date back 3 times because a couple days before this time to make the down payments or pay the final debts off for everything, he would not have his money. He's literally waiting a day or so before to say, I don't have it. And for me, I'm like, girl, run away bride. What are we doing? And do you believe that in this video, what I got from it was that the deal breaker was him not being able to pay for the wedding, not the debt that he had, not him going behind her back. She mentioned those things. I'm not saying that, but what it sounded like to me was that those were the deal breakers. And I personally am baffled. I cannot believe it. She's a beautiful woman. She can get anybody she wants. And I don't understand. She's an attorney. She's intelligent. Why is she settling for this man? But basically, like I said, she did his PPP loans. They exchanged background checks. And she said she's been working on his finances for the last 2 years. She got over, I think she said $10K dismissed on his credit card debt because she's an attorney. She went to court and had that all dismissed. And like she said they had a $1,000 rule. And I'm assuming they had a joint bank account for them to have a rule on how much they spent. But that's my assumptions. But they had a $1,000 rule where he would let her know and she would let him know if they spent anything over $1,000. She got this man on a doggone budget. And he turned around and spent $125,000. Do you hear me? 125,000 of these things on this woman. Listen, the number one reason for divorce is finances. That's across America, right? Typically, black women in these days and times typically are marrying men that are beneath them financially and educationally. Those are facts. Don't at me. Those are facts. Bad enough you're taking a risk on marrying a man who does not financially meet you at your threshold. Not only that, you spend all this time and energy into fixing his debt and creating a new lane and planning for him and doing everything for him. Everything that our mothers has taught us to do when it comes to black men, all for him to turn around and slap you in the face with an extra $125K in debt that you had no clue about. This is a problem, black women. This is a problem. He spent all that money on cars that he thought he was going to get back. And if you heard him in his video at the beginning, he had no plan. What's striking enough for me, though, is the fact that, number one, the wedding was the last straw, him not being able to pay for the wedding, not the fact that he hasn't had a changed behavior. It was basically, hey, look, I know you went to therapy. Kudos to you, but I still love you. And I don't know if I'm going to be with you, but I love you. She stressed that. Please don't harass him. I want y'all to send him hearts. He's going through it. So as we know right now, you can tell that this is not going to be where it ends. They're definitely going to be back down this road. And she's going to probably in the future, if she takes him back, she's going to be in financial ruins, all because of her heart and not her brain. This is what I want to preach to black women. I wish that when it comes to our relationships, voting, but in this particular case, our relationships, we start using our brains. Marriage is a business. She's an attorney. She knows that. She even said that. He could stand to get half of her retirement, and he's already $250K of debt in the hole. Listen, we have to start using our brains and have to make wise decisions. This doesn't sound like a man who would even be a good father, let alone a good husband. Because in his video, he even mentioned that at one point in time, if not now, he was behind on back child support. I want us as black women to do better. Every other group of women get to date men that they feel like are over them or exceeds them. That they get to be hypergamous. They get to practice hypergamy. But black women, for some odd reason, have to be the strong black women and take care of a man. And it just bothers me to the cores of my soul. It was kind of messed up that she started to cry. I felt so bad for her because she was saying what her mother told her, which is you leave a man better than you found him. And that in turn, subliminally, basically puts him before you and your needs. Symone, girl, you could do much better than what he's doing with this man. I get it. He may be handsome. You may even love him. But guess what? Love is fickle, just like any other feeling. Sometimes you're happy. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you love. Sometimes you hate. I want you to get yourself together and find you a man, at least who can halfway meet you, let alone not put you in debt. No amount of love is worth it, because when the business is at hand and it's time for the divorce, we get our Mary J. Bliges who ended up having to pay all this money to this man. We get our Kelly Clarksons, all these women who pay all this money to these men because they thought with their hearts and not with their brains. I want us to do better as Black women. I want us to be better. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Would y'all marry this man? Would you give him another chance? Would you let your heart lead you? Or would you actually stop and say, wait a minute, let me not go down this path? I will give her kudos for one thing. She did actually leave physically. She moved back into her home, and you can tell she's broken about it. I even went on her story and she had a lot of stuff on there basically talking about how she's so hurt, that her wedding didn't go through and embarrassed and all this stuff. But ultimately, I wish nothing but the best for the young lady. But I do want her to be better in her personal relationships. Like I said, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see y'all hoes later. Bye.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.